When David threw his pregnant wife out on the streets of Lagos for his secretary, because she was a poor orphan, he thought he had won. 24 years later, their paths crossed again in the most unexpected way. But would a mother's strength be enough to overcome years of betrayal and abandonment? Sit back and listen as we dive into this emotional story. Amara looked up from the baby clothes she was folding, a smile already on her face. But David's expression was cold, distant in a way that made her stomach clench with more than pregnancy pains. "I want a divorce," he said flatly. The tiny socks in Amara's hands slipped to the floor. "What? David, what are you saying?" "I found someone else," he replied, his voice calm, almost casual. "Someone who can help my career, who understands the kind of life I'm building." Her heart dropped. "But I'm carrying your child. We promised to raise this baby together." David turned away. "Amara, I don't want a child trapped by your background. Cynthia, my secretary, is educated, sophisticated. She can give me intelligent children who will make something of themselves." The cruelty of his words stole Amara's breath. She fell to her knees, clutching his trouser leg. "Please, David, for our baby's sake. I'll change. I'll learn. Pack your things. I want you gone in an hour." That night, Amara found herself on the streets of Lagos with nothing but a small bag and the clothes on her back. Her belly ached. She felt their son moving restlessly, as if he too sensed the danger. She had nowhere to go. She walked for hours until her swollen feet could carry her no further, finally resting in an abandoned building in Ogudu. The cold floor pressed against her back as she cried until no more tears would come. But as dawn broke, Amara placed her hands on her belly and whispered, "I will not let you suffer because of your father's choices. I will be strong enough for both of us." The next morning, despite her pain, she went looking for work. But every door slammed in her face when people saw her condition. By evening, she met Mama Ifeoma, an older woman with kind eyes, selling oranges near the market. "Child, you look ready to collapse," Mama Ifeoma said gently. "When last did you eat?" "I'm looking for work, Ma," Amara whispered, too ashamed to admit her hunger. Mama Ifeoma pressed a ripe banana into her hand. "Eat first, then we talk." As Amara devoured the fruit, Mama Ifeoma listened to her story. Anger rose at David's cruelty, but also admiration for Amara's determination. "You will sell for me," the old woman decided. "Take this tray of fruit. Whatever money you make after returning my capital, you keep." From that day, Amara hawked fruits with determination that surprised even hardened Lagos vendors. Her belly grew heavier, making the work harder, but she pressed on. Mama Ifeoma grew fond of her. One evening she said, "My room is small, but better than that abandoned building. Come and stay with me." Amara's eyes filled with tears. "Why are you helping me, Mama?" "Because 30 years ago, I too was thrown out by my husband's family when I could not bear children. No one helped me then. But you remind me that kindness still exists." The two women became family. On a rainy September night, Amara went into labor. With no money for a hospital, Mama Ifeoma acted as midwife, holding her hand as she brought her baby into the world. "He's beautiful," Mama Ifeoma whispered, placing the child on her chest. "I will call him Kelechi," Amara said through tears. "Because he will do great things." Life with a newborn was difficult. Amara hawked fruits with Kelechi strapped to her back. His gurgles became the soundtrack of her hustle. When he turned 1, tragedy struck. A sudden fever and convulsions sent them rushing to the hospital. "It's meningitis," the doctor said gravely. "He needs immediate treatment. The cost is 150,000 naira. Amara had only half that saved. She broke down in the corridor. "Take my savings," Mama Ifeoma said firmly. "That boy is my grandson too." Together, they saved him. That night, Amara vowed never again would she be helpless. Amara worked harder than ever. One day, at a construction site, she overheard workers complain about poor food. Heart-pounding, she approached the supervisor. "Sir, what if I provide meals? If they don't love it, you don't pay me." The next day she brought steaming pots of jollof rice, fried plantain, and grilled chicken. The workers devoured everything. Word spread. Within months, Amara had contracts with multiple sites. She expanded, eventually opening her own small restaurant. By the time Kelechi reached secondary school, he had a scholarship to one of Lagos' best schools. He excelled in academics, admired by teachers and classmates alike. Meanwhile, Amara's business grew into the Sunlight Kitchen, a popular restaurant. She also opened a fruit shop for Mama Ifeoma, who became the grandmother Kelechi never had. While Amara's life blossomed, David's life collapsed. His marriage to Cynthia, his secretary, had been glamorous at first. But she was cunning. When she caught the eye of a wealthy oil executive, she betrayed David completely. She exposed his embezzlement to the EFCC, stole the rest of his money, and disappeared. David was arrested, disgraced, and sentenced to 8 years in prison. In his dark cell, he finally thought of Amara, the gentle wife he had abandoned, and the child he had never met. Years later, Kelechi graduated with top honors in engineering. At 24, he was hired by one of the most respected firms in Nigeria. "Everything I am, Mama, I owe to you," he said proudly, placing his graduation certificate in her hands. Amara kissed his forehead. "Love and determination, my son. That is what carried us." When David was released from prison, he was a broken man. Aged, penniless, and homeless, he begged on Lagos streets. One afternoon, Kelechi noticed him. Pity stirred in his heart. "Sir, are you hungry? Let me buy you food." He led the beggar to the Sunlight Kitchen. Inside, Amara looked up from the counter. Her heart froze. "David," she whispered. Kelechi turned sharply. "What? This man is my father." David's eyes filled with tears. "Amara, is this my son? Don't call me your son." Kelechi shouted. "You abandoned us. I never want to see you again." He stormed out, leaving David collapsed in shame. That night, Amara sat with her son. "Anger is a heavy burden," she told him. "Forgiving him doesn't mean forgetting. It means setting yourself free." 3 days later, Kelechi returned to the spot where David begged. "I forgive you," he said quietly. "Not because you deserve it, but because I refuse to let your choices control my life. If you truly want redemption, start here." He handed him a card for a rehabilitation center. 5 years later, the Sunlight Kitchen had grown into 3 thriving restaurants. Amara, now a respected businesswoman, shared Sunday meals with Kelechi, his wife Adiz, their 2 children, and Mama Ifeoma, who still told stories at the table. David was not there. He lived quietly, working as a security guard after completing rehabilitation. He occasionally wrote letters to Kelechi, but their bond remained distant. Yet as Amara looked around her bustling restaurant filled with love and laughter, she knew she had everything that truly mattered. The strength of a mother's heart had overcome betrayal, survived hardship, and built a future from nothing but determination and hope. Kelechi squeezed her hand. "Mama, thank you for teaching me that true strength isn't about where you come from, but about how you choose to love." Amara smiled, her heart full of wealth that could never be stolen. And that was her greatest victory.